why do you guys think that a man who is wealthy is quicker to change a broke woman's life, whereas a wealthy woman wouldn't even give a broke guy a chance?
Well, it's because a man wants, man and woman want different things. There's certain things that a man looks for in a woman versus a woman wants certain things they look for in a man. Don't no woman want a man that they gotta build up. They want a man that's already established versus a man, they just want a woman that's gonna cater to them in different ways than how a woman will for a man. So it's just two different things that we want.
And then you have sometimes you even got, then what he said is true, but then you just have some that they looking for a man to try to, like, I guess, try to build their own type of man. Like, if he's on the bottom, they trying to build him to what they want him to be. But my thing is, a man's not going to be what they want him to be. He's only going to be what he wants to be. But they feel like they could change a man, and they feel like if they cater to a man who ain't got nothing, they think they could build him into something that they're not, which will never happen. It never works. So,
I've been drinking, dog.
All right, solid.
For men who are still trying or dating, nothing can be said about them. They don't understand that women will never love them the way those men expect. No matter how beautiful the beginning of a relationship is, always remember the man started everything, but she will definitely end it just to find a better option. They will make up excuses not to be with you, and all the blame would be pointed towards you. The problem is simple. Men are expected to commit and are forced into it even when it goes bad. She commits and has no obligation when she decides to dump him. The game is too lopsided. Relationships are overrated. Women are overrated. There's nothing in women that could actually be of any use to any man. Men are assets and women are liabilities. There are good women out there, but most are masters of deceit, lies, and deception. They know how the game is played and will come across as sweet, loving, and worst of all faithful without ever having the slightest intention of being loyal to you. If you do insist on marriage, make it a very long relationship and engagement and watch her very closely. She'll eventually show her true colors. The first sign of duplicity or disloyalty, dump her. Do you imagine women will ever wake up and realize it is about an intimate, trusting partnership, working together so both of you have far more? It is about blending your desires and efforts with the desires and efforts of the other so both of you benefit. It takes lots of work. It takes trust. It takes honesty. It takes respect and appreciation. It takes both giving and receiving. If you've ever used a dating app, you know how dehumanizing it can be for a regular person. You rapidly discover that the majority of women don't give you any thought. You and most guys are considered inferior by the great majority of women. In the present dating scene, being a man is hard. Thus, the practice of more and more men simply opting out continues to grow. For those who really want that traditional family, that's when the passports come into play. Sure, you may find that proverbial needle in a haystack lady in the Western world, but you can also get that winning lottery ticket with slightly better odds. Besides, the collateral risks associated with Western women are simply overbearing, to say the least. Western society and culture are stacked against men, and women have received more and more preferential consideration in all aspects. Not even worth the time to work toward being that traditional provider, as the more he gets, the more he loses in the end. These women do not understand the meaning of traditional marriage and cannot be considered suitable spouses. It is not about them. At this point, it is about the survival of society. Men must do more than check out of dating and marriage. We must discern what is the purpose of our lives, what does God expect of us, and what are our options in this wicked and selfish world. We should appreciate our time more and stop defining ourselves by our material values. Time is more precious than anything else. I don't understand why so many men voluntarily take on such tough jobs. I hope that more men will soon realize that it's better to work less and earn enough money to afford just a small apartment, so they can have more free time. Nothing makes you happier than having a passion and devoting as much of your free time as possible to it. Fortunately, in recent years, I've had less and less desire to have a girlfriend, and now I'm completely satisfied being alone. I believe many men feel the same way nowadays. The fact is that the modern American woman is the most undateable, disagreeable, unapproachable, and entitled horrid option for dating and marriage, and men in ever greater numbers are choosing to live single lives free from the risk of financial ruin and needless drama women bring. Already, 63% of men ages 18 to 29 are not dating, not in a relationship, or are seeking to be in a relationship. 45% of American working women 25 to 45 are projected to be single, childless, and partnerless by 2030. Thank feminism for the mess dating and marriage have become. Firstly, you need to understand that marriage, the traditional aim when seeking a partner rather than a hookup, is the ultimate expression of Stockholm Syndrome. Feelings of trust or affection felt in many cases of kidnapping or hostage-taking, which is the marriage contract by a victim, who is the groom, towards a captor, who is the bride. Traditionally, the husband earned the money and the stay-at-home wife spent it. The research found that 80% of household spending decisions were made by the wife. Why would a man allow this? Because men are dumb and married for love. Women marry for resources. It's a business decision. And so, men continued for generations to provide and women to decide on how this was spent. But they became overconfident and feminism made them unhappy, that they needed a man like a fish needed a bicycle. And the captors set their victims free, through a divorce or by only taking the top 10% highest value victims, rejecting the remaining 90% of men. It takes time for Stockholm victims to wean themselves off dependency, and we're beginning to see a new generation of young men free from this syndrome and no longer trying to date women. The captors are beginning to see where they made a mistake, as a captor can only be that if they have a victim. That it is, after all, the source of their power. Sadly, women will become more feminized and will draw idiot males back into toxic relationships. And men will happily return to the Stockholm dependency for the sake of old warm intimacy. Or will they? The man is the star of his movie. That's the real catch. Women think they are empowered, but the reality is that men have been liberated. We don't have to do anything for them anymore. They overplayed their hand. All the TikToks and social media expose all their real intentions have woken up millions of men. Men are tired of being rejected, doing the work, not having respectful women in their lives, being treated like disposable items, and the list goes on. Men are recognizing it is pointless to chase women. Instead, they should chase excellence and forge their own path. Even when they're interested, women want you to do all the work, which is exhausting and probably something you don't want to put up with anymore. Instead, they act uninterested until you leave, at which point they reveal their genuine sentiments. It is best to save your limited energy for pursuing worthwhile objectives. If you're successful, they'll probably show up on their own. Just don't ever waste time trying to attract women. What do you expect will happen, even if a woman agrees after you chase her? Rather than pursuing and expending energy, it would be more effective to just express interest. Cut your losses and keep looking if she doesn't respond in kind. Even if it may seem difficult, the best course of action is to avoid participating in all these psychological tricks and confusing signals. I'm about to tell you guys why men are avoiding the dating scene today. Tragically, it is clear that society employs men as a resource. Men are measured by success specifically, whereas women are measured by physical beauty. Men have to contend with arbitrary standards. They are expected to have a high-paying job, a desirable body, a home, etc. Women only need to be attractive for some guys to desire to have a romantic encounter with them, even if they only score a 4 out of 10. In reality, it's nearly impossible to be a man that women want to be intimate with and that men look up to. So many males are unwilling to expend valuable energy courting a girl's favor. Why have guys given up on dating then? I'd limit the scope to modern Western women. When looking for a relationship as a long-term/lifetime variety, looks become secondary to attitude. As for the references to dating apps It's like looking at hotel rooms when searching to buy a home. The modern Western women concept of dating is nothing more than a validation run, and perhaps a quick hookup now and then. A short-term relationship is considered long-term for most of them. Always something better to find, and they are strong practitioners of the throwaway culture. Funny how there is a new breed looking for a daddy, when most of them likely never had one to compare against in the first place. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. And let us know your thoughts on this in the comments. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.